Hello, everyone. I hope I'm visible as well as audible. Good evening to everyone who's present here. And hi, I'm Sukanya. So, I'm sure that you guys must have been perturbed by all the types of challenges that might have come your way. And this is one of the question types that might pose a challenge from time to time. So, today, the class is going to be about source of the passage. Now, you might have seen such type of questions in your mocks. So, let me give you a general outline as to what to anticipate. Okay. Source of the questions basically वो पूछ क्या रहा है. So usually the passages are taken as an extract or an excerpt from either a newspaper or a magazine or a travelogue or a lifestyle blog, or probably it could be just from an essay or a novel. So you need to understand the difference, the discrepancies between these different sources. अब हर सोर्स का कुछ ना कुछ एक यूनिक स्टाइल होता है लिखने का. कुछ सोर्सेज जो होते हैं, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई टॉक अबाउट a research paper or something which is more of an academic essay, it will be obviously very formal in its tone, very serious, right? On the contrary, if I talk about lifestyle blogs or if I talk about maybe a travelogue or something, it might be informal, it might be more entertaining, it might be more personal. So these are the kind of differences that you need to be on the lookout for when you actually attempt these questions. Okay, now the idea is pretty simple. You're going to see some passages today, and we are going to try to answer these questions. But उससे पहले, क्योंकि चार ऑप्शंस रहेंगे तो उसमें तुम लोगों को फर्क पता होना चाहिए, तो फॉर दैट आई एम हियर टू हेल्प यू आउट. ठीक है. So I hope you guys are ready. I hope you're ready to see your first passage. So let's get started. And I hope that by the end of today's class, at least this question type makes you feel comfortable. So let's move to the first passage for the day. Is my voice breaking? Like, am I not very clear? Yes, of course, Sahaj. This topic is very crucial to your CLAT preparation. ये questions तुमने शायद mocks में भी देखे होंगे. और to be very honest, CLAT is around the corner, तो obviously हम CLAT के ही question types basically discuss कर रहे हैं. So please see the passage first, see what you understand, and according to you, what could most likely be the correct answer. And also, if you're ready with your answers, please feel free to write it down. Do not be afraid of making mistakes because mistakes are kind of a stepping stone to success. So, yeah, make mistakes. It's okay. We are here to learn. Ready to discuss? Sahaj, actually, till the very last day, there should be time to read different genres because that is something which is the most important thing when it comes to, achieving, I would say, more coherence in whatever you are reading, in understanding a text. तो टाइम तुम्हारे पास बचा नहीं है, ये एक्सक्यूज तो नहीं हम दे सकते. हम आखिरी दिन तक डाइवर्सिफाइड रीडिंग करने की कोशिश करें. मैं तो आखिरी दिन तक बोलती हूँ बिकॉज दैट एक्चुअली कीप्स योर ब्रेन सेल्स वेरी एक्टिव. So now coming to the passage here. The passage primarily talks about quantum entanglement. Entanglement का मतलब होता है when two particles link to each other in a way that they become interdependent. Now the thing is, ये जो state है, it is irrespective of the distance. तो पहले ये हुआ करता था that the particles who are in close, I would say close knit area, they used to influence each other, but now this is regardless of the distance. It still influences each other. Now this was called the spooky action by Einstein. क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली हम पहले सोचते थे कि हम सेम एरिया में है तो हम एक दूसरे को इम्पैक्ट कर रहे हैं, बट अब एरिया डजेंट रियली मैटर, डिस्टेंस डजेंट रियली मैटर, और उसके बाद भी हम एक दूसरे को इम्पैक्ट कर रहे हैं, तो इसीलिए उसे स्पूकी एक्शन बोला गया था आइंस्टाइन ने. नाउ द थिंग इज, रीसेंट एक्सपेरिमेंट्स जो हुए, दे हैव ऑल्सो सक्सेसफुली डेमोन्स्ट्रेटेड एंटैंगलमेंट, और इसकी वजह से ये भी समझ में आया कि एंटैंगलमेंट काइंड ऑफ वर्क्स ओवर किलोमीटर्स एंड किलोमीटर्स ऑफ डिस्टेंस, राइट. तो इसकी वजह से दिस वाज अ path breaking, I would say, discovery for the scientists as well. Like here they have given the example of the Mischief satellite, as you can see in China. और वहां पे जो मिशीज सैटेलाइट थी, इट काइंड ऑफ अचीव्ड आई थिंक समवेयर अराउंड 1200 kilometers, which was obviously a milestone in quantum physics. Now ये जो ब्रेक थ्रू हुआ कि हम 1200 किलोमीटर के डिस्टेंस पे भी किसी दूसरे पार्टिकल को इम्पैक्ट कर सकते हैं, of course that opened several gates for also information technology, because then it also means that information can be passed to a, I would say, great deal of a distance, right. So coming back to, आगे हमें ये भी पता चलता है जैसे कि क्वांटम एंटैंगलमेंट जो होता है, इट इज एक्चुअली वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट, फंडामेंटल to the development of quantum computers, and the future is all about quantum computers. Now this quantum computers, इसका basic task ये रहता है कि it solves complex problems which your usual normal computers cannot. तो ऐसे problems जो एक normal computer solve ना कर पाए, that would be resolved by a quantum computer. ठीक है. And eavesdropping का मतलब होता है when you hear on to the conversations of some other person. Like दो लोग आपस में धीरे धीरे बात कर रहे हैं और आप वो कॉन्वर्सेशन सुनने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे ईव्सड्रॉपिंग के बारे में भी बताया गया है. नाउ moving over, like despite these advancements, obviously abhi tak we haven't really, I would say, solved A to Z problems. There are still challenges which persist. Problems हैं जो अभी तक बहुत ज़्यादा हमने decode करने की कोशिश नहीं की है, resolve हुई नहीं है. So we are supposed to overcome some hurdles, जैसे कि हम देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे, maintaining entanglement over longer distances. Now it's definitely possible to have an entanglement over longer distances, but to maintain it, it actually depends on whoever is behind the operations. ठीक है. So that is one task that we still need to figure out. फिर उसके बाद यहाँ पे reducing decoherence. Decoherence का भी मतलब यही रहता है basically कि the connection should not become incoherent, something which is still meaningful by the end of it. So coming back to ये जो implications हैं या consequences भी बोल सकते हैं entanglement के, they not only just I would say cover technology, but they kind of go beyond that to foundational questions. अब फाउंडेशनल क्वेश्चंस में क्या क्या आ जाएगा? क्वेश्चंस रिलेटेड टू रियलिटी, व्हाट इज रियल, ओके. ऑल्सो ऑब्जर्वेशन इन क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स, क्योंकि क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स भी वेरी मच इज कनेक्टेड टू क्वांटम फिजिक्स, तो उसके भी बहुत सारे आंसर्स हमें मिलने के चांसेस हैं इन फ्यूचर. नाउ दैट वाज द होल आइडिया ऑफ द पैसेज, आई वुड से. अब अकॉर्डिंग टू यू गाइस, आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ यू हैव मार्क्ड सी एज द आंसर, ठीक है. एंड I'm very happy to actually announce that yes, C is the correct answer. But the first few questions that you are supposed to ask yourself in this type of a conundrum situation, the passage is most likely taken from a popular science article. See, although it does give you an access to information, but was it written in a very entertaining or storytelling format? क्योंकि popular science articles जो होते हैं वो बहुत engaging, entertaining, story like होते हैं, but ऐसा तो नहीं था. The language was very technical, as you can see. ठीक है. तो इसीलिए that's the reason we eliminate option A. आंसर पता होना बहुत अच्छी बात है, but the right reasons why you have chosen that answer, that makes it more important, right? So coming back to option B, a textbook on classical physics. First of all, quantum physics is not really something that comes under the umbrella of classical physics. क्वांटम फिजिक्स इज मोर आई वुड से टू दिस एरा. वहीं पे क्लासिकल फिजिक्स के बारे में अगर हम बात करें तो इट टॉक्स अबाउट एस्टैब्लिश्ड थिंग्स दैट हैज हैपेंड इन द एरिया ऑफ फिजिक्स. बट क्वांटम फिजिक्स इज समथिंग व्हिच इज ब्रांड न्यू, आई वुड से वेरी न्यू. ठीक है, तो अगेन दिस कैन नॉट बी a textbook on classical physics ka part. Answer is option C, as you guys have correctly identified. I'm not able to. Yeah. A research paper in a quantum physics journal, as you can very well see, the language was technical, very formal, something which was also very dense, not very easy to understand. And the last one, a science fiction novel, a sci-fi novel. So there was nothing fictional about it. कोई fantasy नहीं थी. ये सब कुछ real हो रहा है. So that's the reason we eliminate option D. Moving on to the next one. I think this one would be very easy to get. Let's see. Ready to discuss? Okay, so the first thing that you might have observed when you must have read this passage is that it was in a narrative style. Yes or no? Somebody who is telling you or narrating a story, right? ये चीज नोटिस की कि रहेगी. By the way, we also talk about the protagonist of the story, the person that has been mentioned here, and it is Alex, right? And Alex is visiting this very old mansion, a very deserted mansion. People don't live here, and obviously, looking at the condition of the house, it does not really look well maintained because when he tries to open the door, it makes a creaky sound, isn't it? Now, he's actually very troubled. The reason why he has been called here, he has no idea why. And he wonders to himself as to why she has sent the message after all these years. What is that mystery that we are still supposed to uncover about my sister's disappearance? That means long ago, Alex's sister disappeared and there were no answers to it. Still, it kind of makes him shiver because ऐसी सिचुएशन में जब आप अकेले किसी ऐसे deserted mansion में जाते हो तो of course it is a very nervous panicky state that you are in. So the same way it kind of sends chills down his spine, but still he manages to crack open the door and enters. He knows, he very well knows actually, that whatever is uncovered, whatever truth that will be uncovered today is going to change everything about the way he looks at life. Okay, so that was the passage. Now, I think it was very easy to come to the right answer because travel brochure, first of all, is usually written in order to sell you something. Okay? So, obviously, it will have promotional statements and remarks, but यहाँ पे nobody is trying to sell you anything. As you can see, it is a part of a story. So, travel brochure is definitely out. A mystery novel, yes, this definitely looks like a part of a mystery novel because you can look at the, areas of suspicion where Alex is unsure about why he has been called here. The old mansion, which again is very mysterious, something that, makes us question everything. तो ये सारी जो चीजें हैं वो एक mystery novel का ही part होती हैं. If I talk about historical document, first of all, historical documents are factual and objective. That means nobody's point of view, and also something which can be fact checked. So, obviously, these were not all facts. This is part of fiction instead. Personal diary is more informal. Secondly, आपने देखा होगा एक और चीज कि पर्सनल डायरी में इट्स यूजुअली रिटन इन फर्स्ट पर्सन. आई, वी, ऐसा यूज होता है प्रोनाउन, राइट? तो यहाँ पे हम डेफिनेटली देख सकते हैं कि दिस स्टोरी हैज बीन रिटन इन थर्ड पर्सन, नॉट फर्स्ट पर्सन. सो द करेक्ट आंसर टू दिस इज अ मिस्ट्री नॉवल. Good job, who has got it right. Moving to the next one. Pretty straightforward, I guess. So, I think most of you have marked the right answer. Pretty straightforward, as I've already said. We are basically assembling something, and they are giving us, I would say, very clear instructions as to how to go about it. Do I really need to explain everything? Like we are attaching this A part to part B, and there are some screws provided, and then you need to check whether the alignment is all right. We can use a Phillips screwdriver to, tighten it, but we should not over tighten it. And then there is a slot C. ऐसे बहुत सारी आपको technical जो point A से point Z तक आपको लेके जाने वाले steps हैं वो यहाँ पे दिए हुए हैं. And this is usually given in an instruction manual because they are teaching you how to assemble this so that you can start using the product. Whereas if I talk about a product review is basically when you evaluate what kind of a product this is by checking out the reviews of people, basically the user experience. जैसे कि आपने देखा होगा, usually if you go on Amazon or any other website, you might have seen that there are some product reviews and you check it out to see whether the product is authentic, whether it really works the way they have promised. ठीक है? तो ये product review तो बिल्कुल नहीं हो सकता है. Engineering textbook can talk about theories, can talk about some practical examples, but it definitely does not give you instructions, right? So that is again something which is out of scope. And a sales advertisement का मतलब ये है कि somebody who is trying to pitch a sale, somebody who would want you to purchase something. So it is going to be obviously जैसे कि आप किसी चीज को pitch कर रहे होते हो तो advertisement कैसा होता है? Very catchy, something which is bound to capture your attention. वैसे टाइप की चीज तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. It is something which is, I would say, very, very technical, very, very straightforward. So the correct answer is an instruction manual, right? Let's see the next one. So what should be the answer? Okay, so I can see different answers here. All right. So here we are talking about the company's Q4 earnings, basically quarter four earnings. We are kind of, I would say, evaluating whatever has happened in the fourth quarter, and that has exceeded expectations. Everybody's really happy. There has been a 12% increase in revenue, and the performance has been really good because of the successful launch of their new smartphones. And हम देख सकते हैं कि that has captured a significant share in countries like China, India, और उसकी वजह से काफी पॉपुलर हो गया है. However, as soon as you see the word however, that means something opposite to whatever is going on is being introduced, right? So there are certain problems like rising material cost, then supply chain disruptions. That means it's not very easy to, I would say, parcel out the product and send it across. And these are some challenges which kind of, create certain problems for the company. लेकिन फिर उसके बाद हम बात करते हैं यहाँ पे कुछ कुछ प्रोडक्शन टाइमलाइंस का मतलब होता है व्हेन यू set a deadline that by this date you are supposed to provide this material. तो वो प्रोडक्शन टाइमलाइंस जो है वो भी कहीं ना कहीं क्रॉस हो रही हैं एंड ऑल्सो बिकॉज ऑफ इंक्रीज्ड लॉजिस्टिक्स कॉस्ट लॉजिस्टिक का कॉस्ट बढ़ गया है और उसकी वजह से जो प्रॉफिट मार्जिन हैं वो थोड़े से श्रिंक हो गए स्टिल द कंपनी इज रियली होपफुल दे आर वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक okay and they know that their long term strategy is definitely going to bring them a lot of revenue तो आगे चल के हम यही देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे कि investors are advised now this is a very important statement here to hold their positions while monitoring these developments closely. So they have suggested something to the investors so that not, I would say, some major issues or problems can आप बोल सकते हो can easily be mitigated if the investors listen to this. Now the thing is, additionally, the company plans to expand into emerging markets. Again, as they have been very optimistic, hopeful about this entire, I would say, revenue cycle. So they are planning to expand. ठीक है, well and good. अफ्रीका और लैटिन अमेरिका में ये एक्सपेंशन होने वाला है एंड दे ऑल्सो वांट टू डाइवर्सिफाई देयर इनकम स्ट्रीम्स व्हिच जनरली is done by a company who is usually doing really good. ठीक है? So that's what the passage is all about. If I talk about option A, I can see there are all sorts of answers in the chat box. किसी ने A मार्क किया है, B भी मार्क किया है, C भी मार्क किया है, D भी मार्क किया है. सारी चीजें हमने ट्राई कर ली है. चलो, सबसे पहले हम बात करते हैं कंपनी की एनुअल रिपोर्ट में क्या होना चाहिए. तो एक एनुअल रिपोर्ट जो होती है वो एक कॉम्प्रहेंसिव डॉक्यूमेंट होता है. तो कॉम्प्रहेंसिव डॉक्यूमेंट में क्या क्या बात होती है फ्यूचर आउटलुक्स की बात होती है कि फ्यूचर में हमें क्या क्या चीजों के बारे में सोच के चलना है ठीक है मैनेजमेंट रिलेटेड डिस्कशंस एंड डिसीजंस आर टेकन बट ऑलवेज रिमेंबर an annual report will not really have advisory note in it okay so can you see an advisory note here of course you can so this is a comprehensive document evaluating past, present, and future plans. Okay, but does not have a suggestive tone. Okay, so option A is definitely eliminated as you can see. If I talk about a financial news report, two things. First of all, is very formal, and secondly, it's informative and neutral. So, neutral, informative, and fact-based. So, do you think there is a chance of a suggestion there? क्या एक suggestion हो सकता है अगर वो neutral है तो? Can you give a suggestion where something is entirely fact-based? You cannot. That's why option B is also eliminated. And if I talk about a shareholders meeting minutes, तो मिनट्स में क्या क्या होगा, उसमें डिस्कशंस होते हैं, कंपनी से रिलेटेड कोई डिसीजंस लिए जाएंगे. सो देयर विल बी डिस्कशंस अराउंड दैट. There will also be, I would say, some decisions that might have been taken during that meeting that will be stated. But again, suggestive note is missing. So there is only one option. Coming back to an investment advisory newsletter. As you can see, the investors have been advised to hold on to their shares and also be observant about the upcoming things, right? So coming back to the right answer, which is option D. All the options kind of look very, very similar, and I think probably that's the reason most people got confused, right? I think Ranjit got it right, then Sudarshan got it right. Well done. Let's move to the next one. What do you think should be the answer? Okay, first of all, ask yourself the question, was this passage very visual, written in an entertaining or narrative or storytelling style? Or was it formal, informative? क्या लगता है? Formal, informative, factual. तो सुदर्शन, इसीलिए पूरा पैसेज पढ़ने की जरूरत है, एंड साथ साथ क्वेश्चन भी. डू नॉट सिंपली गेट अफ्रेड of a difficult passage, because usually the questions are easier. Now coming back to, yes, the correct answer is informative. It has information related to a canon event that happened in the past. किस चीज के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं हम यहाँ पे? We are talking about Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event. Now this event happened 66 million years ago, and that led to complete, I would say, disappearance of non-avian dinosaurs from planet Earth. नाउ जो भी एविडेंसेस हमें मिले उसकी वजह से हमें उनका प्राइमरी कॉज भी पता चला कि व्हाई एंड हाउ दिस एक्सटिंक्शन हैपेंड. कैन एनीबॉडी टेल मी क्विकली, हाउ डिड द एक्सटिंक्शन हैपन? व्हाट इज द रीजन? एनीवन हु कैन पॉइंट इट आउट टू मी? Suggests a massive asteroid impact, and that was the primary cause for their extinction. Now this impact, जब एस्टेरॉइड ने planet Earth को hit किया होगा, तो it might have released energy that was equivalent to billions of atomic bombs. एक atomic bomb is capable of complete destruction. Imagine millions. Okay. So I think you get the gist, right? So this was, I would say this was parallel to tsunamis, floods, even wildfires together, and that eventually led to a really prolonged winter. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे हम clearly देख सकते हैं कि ये जो impact winter था, मतलब कि the winter actually stayed for a really long time उस समय पे, and that kind of blocked sunlight as well, and this dramatic climate shift actually disrupted photosynthesis, and if photosynthesis gets disrupted, so does the food chain. So as we can see, that led to the collapse of food chains. While dinosaurs, they perished, डायनासोर्स तो मर गए, बट उसके साथ साथ कुछ ऐसे लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स थे, they kind of survived this situation and eventually they diversified in the aftermath of this event. So जो आप देख सकते हो, organisms like small mammals, birds, they survived, they diversified in the aftermath, and this event was also really really pivotal for the mammals to actually evolve. We are also mammals, right? So this actually gave us enough opportunity to evolve and eventually dominate planet Earth. ठीक है? Leading to the rise of primates. Primates में हमारे monkeys आ जाएंगे, langurs आ जाएंगे, and humans as well. So the study of this extinction actually gives us a very glaring picture as to how, I would say, the क्या बोल सकते हैं, ephemeral life is, because just by one asteroid attack everything can get disrupted, and we might not know tomorrow, we might not exist just because of a simple but significant, obviously, impact of an event. So, as we can see, this helps us understand potential future risks from asteroid impacts. Now, if I talk about this passage, a documentary script on dinosaurs, तो मैंने तुम लोगों को स्टार्टिंग में एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था, what was it, visual, narrative, that means storytelling? It wasn't. So let's talk about the second best answer, which most people chose and also most people got wrong. When I talk about a scientific journal article, it should have hypotheses, data analysis. Oh, so, was it a part of this particular article? बताओ, क्या यहाँ पे कोई hypotheses थी कि मैं कुछ मान के चल रही हूँ, कोई methods discuss किए गए? Did we discuss all of that? Do you still choose B as your answer? That is my question basically. Again, no, that's not the answer. The answer is a museum exhibit label. If you have ever visited a museum, you might have seen that just where the exhibit is, there is also a tablet kind of a structure where some important piece of information is given about the display. ठीक है? Data analysis. Analysis का मतलब होता है where you weigh the pros and cons. Did you weigh the pros and cons, the positives and negatives? So, a museum exhibit label which provides you information related to Cretaceous Paleogene extinction, because they might have in their exhibit displayed the bones of this organism. अब आया समझ में? तो इसीलिए वो जो म्यूजियम एग्जिबिट लेबल होता है उसमें आपको हमेशा कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट क्रूशियल इंफॉर्मेशन मिलती है रिगार्डिंग द एग्जिबिट, एंड दैट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हाट दिस इज. इफ आई टॉक अबाउट अ चिल्ड्रंस साइंस बुक, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट्स रिटन इन very simple, entertaining language. Whereas this was obviously not entertaining, it was full of information. Yes, good summer, absolutely. But that is how you are supposed to identify. You are supposed to find out the nuances. See, when you actually, in background study this particular topic, sources of the passage, आपको अपनी research करनी पड़ेगी, and the research should be rock solid. You cannot just simply see its definition and mark your answer. No, it doesn't work that way because contexts differ, और differing context के साथ answers differ. ठीक है? तो सबसे पहले तो इसीलिए सबसे पहले मैं यही बोलती हूँ कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आइडेंटिफाई A very simple question. How does a magazine article differ from a newspaper article? Okay, what is a magazine report? What is a newspaper report? What is a dissertation paper? What is an academic analysis? तो ऐसे कुछ क्वेश्चंस जिनका तुम अच्छे आंसर्स एक बहुत आप बोल सकते हो डिटेल्ड आंसर जब आपको मिल जाए then you can definitely approach these questions with a lot of confidence, right? So now the answer was C. Taking you to the next one, I think you'll be able to get it very quickly because I think we are all professional shoppers. We are all the product of consumerism gone crazy. हम सभी ने multiple चीजें online order की हैं and we have all received something similar. So I would want all of you to get this answer right without my help. So only two people gave the answer so far. What about the others? What do you think? What is it? So once you have placed an order, you start getting information emails, isn't it? Where you get information about where your product is, has it been packed, has it been dispatched, is it out for delivery? कुछ समझ में आ रहा है? Yes? तो यहाँ पे that's exactly what is happening when we talk about this particular excerpt. A shipping confirmation email that your product has been shipped. You have got some extra points which you can redeem on your next purchase. You might get some discount. Your product is already shipped. ये confirmation email है. So that makes A the ideal answer. Let's talk about the others. A product catalog. Catalog displays all the products for sale. For example, as a firm, I sell 100 products, तो उस कैटलॉग में सभी के पिक्चर्स दिखेंगे, सभी के आप बोल सकते हो प्राइजेस दिखेंगे, their unique qualities will be stated so that the customer gets attracted to it and purchases. Okay, so what should be the answer? Obviously A, not a product catalog, क्योंकि यहाँ पे क्या आपको बहुत सारे products की details पता चल रही थी? No, not really. A customer service chat transcript, which many people thought as the correct answer. Have you ever chatted with an AI bot or a customer care employee? First of all, it is very interactive, has back and forth conversation. Yes or no? Here, nobody is really making a conversation happen. It's a one-way street. दो लोगों की बातें पता चल रही है यहाँ पे कि दो लोग बातें कर रहे हैं. So whoever has chosen option C as the answer, if you're chatting with somebody, I think that's the most common thing that the conversation has to be a two-way street, right? And then let's talk about a company's website homepage. Two things. A homepage is general and promotional, whereas this was very specific. It was talking about a product that you have purchased, which is out for shipping. So हम बात कर रहे थे किसी स्पेसिफिक चीज की, whereas यहाँ पे जनरल और प्रमोशनल होम पेज होते हैं. If you have ever visited a website's home page, the first page. Okay. Now, moving to the next one. I hope you have understood the difference. So what should be the answer? Let me tell you one thing about book reviews, because people are kind of choosing that as their answer. So book reviews are basically, you know, a summary kind of a thing, I would say. So reviews summarize and evaluate a book for potential readers. Whereas, if you look at this passage very closely, don't you think that this is a symbolic analysis? We are talking about different symbols, what it stands for, yes or no? Tell me. So the correct answer is a literary analysis. A literary analysis, why? Because wherever there is analysis, there is evaluation of information. That means you are examining every single thing. You're examining the symbolism. Like here you can see that the protagonist's journey through the haunted forest, it symbolizes her internal struggles, the traumatic events. And also the towering trees are a symbol for the giant obstacles, the hindrances in her life. Whereas जब भी उसको sunlight दिखती है, it is kind of a beam of hope for her. So even if I talk about the setting of the story, setting means the place where the story is set. It talks about psychological states. ये सारी ही चीजें, they are very, I would say, unique to Gothic literature. So we are talking about Gothic literature, and this book is a part of Gothic literature, right? So प्रोलोग की बात करें तो प्रोलोग का मतलब होता है setting the story. Setting the story का मतलब होता है, I would say, wait, let me just erase this first. Prologue is basically the platform from where the story starts. Okay? It is the setting of the story from where it moves forward. Okay? I would say opening statements. ठीक है? Or the introduction, which kind of helps us move, I would say, move forward with the story. So, was it simply the introductory part? Tell me. Was it simply a prologue? At this stage for the story itself. And this can definitely not be an author's biography that was the first to get eliminated, because an author's biography is about his personal life, where here we are talking about a story. ठीक है? एग्जैक्टली सुदर्शन, बिल्कुल सही बोला तुमने। तो आंसर हमारा बहुत क्लियरली लिटरेरी एनालिसिस है। जब आपको इतने सारे सिंबलिज्म दिख रहे हैं, दिस मिरर्स कंफ्यूजन, एंजाइटी, creating a sense of unease and suspense, every single thing, her employment of imagery and metaphor, because it has some deeper meaning. ठीक है? So we are analyzing a text. Now, moving to the next one, I think probably the last one for the day. I think most of you have got the right answer. But we also should know why A cannot be the answer, or for that matter, any other option. A cooking show transcript. First of all, shows viewer engagement and spoken dialogue. Whereas spoken dialogue was definitely missing. And viewer engagement is also something which the writer did not really talk about. Okay? So इसीलिए A हमारा आंसर हो सकता है क्या? नहीं हो सकता है। फिर आई थिंक सभी लोगों ने जनरली आंसर सही दिया, बिकॉज वी कैन सी step by step instruction as to how to cook this vegan gluten free version as well as the normal version of this classic dessert, and we can enjoy it with our family and friends. So step by step instructions का मतलब ही होता है they are telling us the recipe of a dessert, right? Then moving forward to the next one, a food blog post. अच्छा एक चीज याद रखना, whenever there is a blog involved, a blog will always be informal, more interactive, will have personal anecdotes. That means personal stories will be narrated. That means हो सकता है कि I am cooking this dish. This reminds me of something that I did 5 years back, and it was a really exciting opportunity for me. और वो खुद की कहानी भी बताने लग जाएगा. ठीक है? So option C, informal, has personal anecdotes, and that's why this cannot be the answer, because as you can see it's just a step by step instruction. We do not really interact with the, आप बोल सकते हो, the person who is telling us the recipe. Very straightforward. If I look at a culinary school lesson plan, see, a lesson plan, no matter whether it is of a culinary school or of a normal school, will have some learning objectives discussed. That by this class you will have learned this and this thing. क्या ऐसा कुछ हुआ इस particular passage में? That means this is something that we are bound to achieve by the time we finish this lesson. Like today, we were bound to achieve some clarity on the source of the passage. I hope after this class there is a slight clarity to it. तो बताओ, ऐसा कुछ दिखा तुम्हें लर्निंग ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, कोई असेसमेंट्स, कोई एक्टिविटीज? नो. So our answer is option B. Actually, so the only suggestion, and because you are asking a very general question, in order to improve accuracy, I would say that the first thing that you need to do is, you know, the choice of the passages should be very, very smart, very, very wise. Choose the passages which you are more comfortable with, which are more relatable to you, something that you have read before, something that forms a link with you. Check out the questions, see if the questions are really lengthy, trying to, just trick you by keeping it complicated. ऐसे questions दिख रहे हैं तो that means that passage can be kept for the last. See whether you can find multiple keywords in the questions. If you can, that means the answers would be pretty straightforward. So there are several factors which actually combine together to help you improve your accuracy, and these are some of it. So, भक्ति मेरा नाम है सुकन्या, एंड फाइनेंशियल टर्म्स जो होते हैं, देखो एक सिंपल सी बात है. इफ यू गो ऑन यूट्यूब, इफ यू गो ऑन गूगल, यू विल गेट A to Z glossary of economics. You can easily just pick out the words from there and you can watch a YouTube short or a YouTube video on it. It's that simple to get familiar with the technical language. Okay, and thank you so much, Arsh. Thank you so much everybody else. And to increase speed again, first of all, your word per minute count should be really up to the mark. You should be able to read 225 words per minute at least. And उससे अच्छी अगर reading है तो बहुत ही अच्छी बात है. But other than that, I think every single thing follows one thing, and that is what type of a reader you are. Are you an interactive reader? uh, are you somebody who's really genuinely interested in reading? Because if you read every single day, the flow comes naturally to you. That's the reason I say that diversified reading is something that should be done till the very end. So you should not really ignore it. That is the most important part. It keeps the flow alive. Okay. And you already know that CLAT is a reading intensive paper. So if you're somebody who does not like reading, do not really expect miraculous results. I'll be very honest here. If you're somebody who starts to enjoy it by the time the exam comes, then automatically you will see massive improvement in your scores, not only your scores, but also in your results. So keep reading, that's the most important part. Keep interacting with the text, ask some relevant questions, and see if you can get the answers to it. And again, अगर कुछ काम नहीं करता है तो at the end of the day you do have your chat GPT and other things to get help from. So thank you so much everyone for your time, and I would obviously see you soon. And until then, keep learning and all the very best. Bye bye.